Ryota is a simple young man working at a private company, but he suffers from extreme psychological pressure, until he was transferred to the hospital and unfortunately died there because of work pressure. But suddenly Ryota wakes up in another strange world, and he finds a little girl named Emily in front of him. So Ryota looks at her while not understanding anything, and suddenly, a slime monster attacks them, and Emily kills it with her hammer. And when it dies, bean sprouts appear in its place, so Ryota gets surprised and does not understand anything. So Emily goes to the sprouts on the ground and takes them, and we learn that everything here in this world is extracted from monsters in the dungeons, even meat, vegetables, and fruits. So Ryota walks with her in the dungeon they are in. While they are walking, they encounter a slime monster, so Emily kills it and takes its loot, and she takes Ryota and they go to measure their power, and the two stand in front of a strange board in the place, and Emily puts her hand on the board and her data appears. And we learn that her drop level is low, and this means the amount of loot that comes out from monsters and its quality. So Ryota puts his hand on the board as well, and data about his power appears, but it is much lower than Emily. But he is shocked when he finds that his drop level is legendary, so he looks for any weapon near him to try killing a monster and see what will come out. So Emily goes to him and gives him a weapon, which is a bamboo spear, so Ryota takes it and goes to a slime monster and kills it, and he finds a large amount of bean sprouts in its place. So Emily looks at him while amazed, because it is the first time she sees this huge amount from one monster. After that, Ryota and Emily go to eat together, and Ryota becomes very happy because he is eating with someone, because all his life he was alone, because of the job he used to work. Ryota thanks her, and gets up to look for a place to sleep, so Emily tells him about the place where she lives, and gives him the bamboo spear with him, and tells him you will face difficulty without a weapon. On the next day, Ryota takes the bean sprouts he collected, and goes to the market to sell them, and he learns the price of renting the apartment, and goes to the dungeon again and defeats level 1 monsters, and takes the loot and sells it in the market, and starts collecting money to rent it. After 3 days, Ryota manages to rent an old and small apartment, and takes Emily with him to show her the apartment, and takes out the key and gives it to her, so she becomes very surprised at him. So he tells her, I rented this apartment specifically for you, so Emily becomes very happy because of what Ryota did. After that, Ryota goes to the shop to sell the bean sprouts, and meets the employee working there whose name is Erza, and learns from her that there is a new dungeon that appeared, its name is Nihonium, and the Nepotan family is exploring it, because it is the strongest family in the whole city, and they see what monsters drop there. At night, Ryota returns to the house again, and when Ryota opens the door, he finds Emily standing waiting for him while she is happy, and he looks at the house and finds it clean, and becomes very happy with Emily's effort. On the next day, Ryota goes to the new Nihonium dungeon to explore it by himself, and while he is walking, he meets a skeleton that wants to attack him, so he rushes at it and stabs it with his bamboo spear, and keeps hitting it until he kills it completely, and he finds that a strange seed dropped from it, so when Ryota holds it, he hears a strange voice in his ear, saying health points increased by 1 point, so he leaves the dungeon and goes with Emily to the board to see Ryota new data. And they actually find that his health increased in level, so both of them look at the board while amazed. After that, they enter the dungeon again to continue exploring. Ryota kills a large number of skeletons with Emily, but they discover that when Emily kills a monster she does not extract anything from it, unlike Ryota who extracts from it the seed that increases his level. On the next day, Ryota goes to the normal dungeon to kill slime monsters and take vegetables from them, and finds that his health no longer decreases like before, and waits for the right moment and attacks the monster and kills it, and manages to extract from it a giant-sized carrot, and he finds another monster coming to attack him, but suddenly a group of adventurers comes and kills it before him, and they tell him, how can a beginner like you be in the second level of the dungeon, and they laugh and keep mocking him. But Ryota stays silent and does not respond to them. Suddenly he feels that there is someone behind him, and when he looks he finds a girl that looks like rabbits, and she hits him in his face, but she quickly gets surprised when Ryota is not affected by the hit, and leaves him and walks away after that. After that Ryota returns to the house again, and while he is standing talking with Emily, he hears the sound of someone knocking on the door, and when he opens he finds the same rabbit-like girl again, and she hits him on his face like the previous time. But he still is not affected, and does not understand why she is doing that, so she quickly goes to one of the people, and hits him with the same strike she hit Ryota with, so that man is affected strongly and bleeds from his face, so Ryota and Emily look at her while shocked. Ryota asks her, why did you come here? so she takes out for him a carrot from the ones he hunted in the dungeon, so Ryota understands that she wants more carrots, and Emily offers her to have dinner with them, and eat from the carrots she cooks, so she becomes happy and agrees immediately. When she tastes the food she likes it very much, and the girl thanks them for the food and the hospitality, and leaves them and walks away. On the next day, Ryota goes to the Nihonium dungeon, but this time to meet the second level of monsters, and while he is walking, he encounters a zombie in front of him. So, Ryota goes to it, and stabs it with his spear, but the spear breaks and the zombie does not die, so he keeps hitting the zombie in its face, until he kills it. Ryota goes to the seed he extracted from the zombie and holds it, and hears a voice saying Ryota's strength increased by 1 point, and he looks beside him and finds the rabbit girl standing, and she asks him, what did you take from that monster? All the people who come to this dungeon and kill monsters do not find anything. It is clear that these items are special to you. At sunset, Ryota is carrying many carrots in his hand, and says, after my strength increased, I became able to defeat a larger number of slimes, and he goes to the shop to meet the girl, and give her from his carrots, and people are shocked how someone can deal with the rabbit girl. So the employee Urza goes to Ryota, and asks him, do you know who this girl is? So he tells her no, I gave her some carrots and she liked me. When Urza hears that, she becomes surprised, and asks him to buy all the amount of carrots he has, at double their price, and tells him this girl name is Eve, and she is famous for her experience in carrots, and if she eats a carrot and finds its taste good, it is sold at double its price. And Urza actually gives him the money, so Ryota takes it while happy and cannot believe himself. On the next day, Ryota goes to the dungeon with Emily to collect carrots, and while he is walking, he meets 2 adventurers facing a slime monster, but they cannot defeat it. Their leader notices and goes to them and scolds them, and he goes and kills the slime, and shouts at them, and tells them, when I was your age, I did not rest for a single minute. Ryota looks at him while angry, and remembers his previous life when he was working in the company, and his manager while giving him impossible tasks and he must finish them in a short time. After that he sits eating with Emily, and they find Eve coming to them quickly to eat with them. And while they are sitting, they see the leader with the adventurers, and hear him while saying, do not become like these people, because laziness will weaken your strength. So Eve goes to him quickly and splits a carrot into 2 halves, and gives it to 2 people with the leader, and when they eat it they find its taste very good. So the leader looks at her and does not respond to her, and orders the 2 people with him to leave quickly. After that, Ryota and Emily go to the shop to sell the carrots they have, so Urza suggests to him that he buys a magic cart so he can collect a lot of loot in it and make more money. So Ryota likes the idea and decides that he will go to buy one. After they finish, they go to the magic cart shop, and when they enter they find a little girl welcoming them, and the shop owner goes to them to see them and suggests to them one of the carts, which is newly made, but they are shocked by the price, because it is very exaggerated. So the 2 of them leave the shop while upset, and while they are going home, they hear the sound of people screaming. So Emily says there are monsters appearing in the city, as a result of leaving loot in the dungeon, or outside without anyone taking it. And unfortunately these monsters are very strong, and nothing is extracted from them, so people do not like to fight them. Suddenly they hear the sound of Urza screaming, and find her fallen on the ground and the monster approaching her. So Ryota goes to her quickly and saves her at the last moment, and suddenly Eve comes with her friends and goes to help him, and he uses the monster being distracted with them, and goes to Urza to check on her, but he finds her sad because the city was destroyed. So Ryota runs quickly to the monster, and hits it in its stomach and manages to finish it, so the people of the city come and thank him for saving them. Suddenly he hears a strange sound coming from the place of the monster, as if it is the sound of loot, so Ryota becomes surprised because Emily said stray monsters do not leave loot behind, and when he goes there, he looks at the ground and becomes shocked, because he finds a gun with its bullets. So Ryota takes it and says, but there should not be a weapon like this in this world, and also a stray monster should not drop anything. There must be something wrong. After that Ryota goes to the board to check his data, and finds himself still at level 1. But his strength is increasing, and he enters the Nihonium dungeon, specifically the 2nd level, to kill the monsters there, and also to try the gun he has, and when the zombie monster appears in front of him, he uses the weapon on it and finishes it easily. And suddenly, a group of monsters appears and approaches him, so Ryota uses the gun and finishes them all, but he asks how will I get bullets when they run out. After that he goes with Emily to the normal dungeon to collect some carrots, and when they finish they sit together to have lunch, and Ryota says thanks to the gun there is no monster that can stand against me, we want to go to the 3rd level of this dungeon later. After a while, the two of them go down to the third level of the dungeon to get rare vegetables and earn more money. And Emily tells him the monsters here are called cockroach slimes and pumpkin is extracted from them. And while they are walking, Ryota notices some cockroaches walking on the wall and feels disgusted by them, but suddenly he hears the sound of Emily hammer hitting the ground. Ryota tells her there was no need to use all that power, so Emily turns her face and looks at him with a terrifying smile on her face, and replies I must do this so they do not spread, so Ryota gets scared from her frightening face, and also from the terrifying aura coming from her. But she returns to her normal state again, and Emily takes the pumpkin from the ground and goes to Ryota, and they hold each other and walk. While they are walking, Ryota says to himself we must get out of here quickly, because Emily cannot handle this place, and I do not want to see that terrifying smile again. And suddenly Emily stops and he finds a group of cockroaches coming out from everywhere. Suddenly, Emily starts transforming into a completely different person, and a tremendous power comes out from her, so Ryota quickly goes and tries to kill all the monsters before Emily loses control of herself, and he takes out his gun and starts shooting them one after another, and he manages to kill all the monsters, and saves Emily before she transforms. After a while, Ryota and Emily leave the shop after they sold the pumpkins, but they return to the dungeon again to collect the rest of the pumpkins they left there, and could not take because of space. But they find them all eaten, and when Ryota looks at Emily, he finds her transforming again, and she says the cockroaches are here, and gathers all her strength and hits the hammer on the ground. Suddenly a very large amount of cockroaches comes out, so Ryota takes out his gun and shoots at them quickly. But the bullets run out, so Ryota feels intense fear, and tries to kill them quickly before Emily completely transforms using his slipper. He manages to finish them all, but he becomes very exhausted, so Emily apologizes to him, and tells him it seems when I see these creatures I turn into a strange person, and suddenly, they hear the sound of extraction from the cockroaches, and when Ryota looks at the ground, he finds many bullets appeared as loot. So he quickly goes to Erza to understand from her the reason for the appearance of monsters. So she tells him, do you not know that when you leave your loot it turns into stray monsters? So he replies, I remember that Emily told me something like this, but I did not pay attention to her words. And Ryota thinks for a while, and says to himself, if I make these stray monsters appear I will be able to collect more bullets when I kill them, and he quickly goes to execute his plan. He goes to one of the empty places, and puts a carrot on the ground and waits until it transforms. But suddenly Eve comes and takes the carrot and eats it, so Ryota gets very angry but decides to start again. But this time the carrot actually transforms into a monster, and quickly Ryota shoots it with the gun and kills it, and manages to extract new bullets from it, and goes to them quickly to take them. And a brilliant idea comes to his mind, to try turning the seeds he takes from the Nihonium dungeon into stray monsters and kill them, and see what he will get instead. On the next day, Ryota goes to the Nihonium dungeon to take seeds from monsters, and when he finds that he reached the maximum level of his strength, he decides that he will start his plan and collect the seeds to turn them into stray monsters and kill them. And while he is going out, a skeleton appears in front of him, so Ryota hits it hard and throws it outside the dungeon, and suddenly the monster disappears completely. So he goes to Erza to understand the reason from her. So she tells him monsters disappear when they leave the dungeon, because if they did not disappear we would have died from stray monsters, even inside the dungeon. Monsters disappear if they go to a level different from their level, so Ryota thanks her and leaves quickly. After that, Ryota returns to the dungeon again, and stands at the door waiting for any monster to come attack him, and when it appears he throws it outside the dungeon, and shoots it with the gun before it disappears, so it becomes a stray monster and he takes its loot, and Ryota finds in its place a new type of bullet, which is the ice bullet, and takes it and goes to a tree to try it, and suddenly ice spreads all over it. At night Ryota and Emily are on their way home, but they encounter a girl arguing with her master, so Ryota goes to them. So the master tells him, good that you came, there is a load below, I want you to carry it and bring it up and I will give you money. So the girl with him replies, this will not work. A long time has passed while it is below, it may turn into a monster at any moment, we should burn it but my master does not want, because he does not want to lose the loot. Suddenly, a strange ghost-like monster appears and controls the master. So the girl tells them the loot turned into stray monsters without bodies. So Ryota takes out his gun and shoots it quickly and manages to kill it and saves the master before he dies. So the girl orders them to escape from here quickly, and tells them if we do not do something the monsters will spread everywhere. I will try to delay them until you bring reinforcements from the city. Ryota remembers his previous life At that time his coworker makes a mistake, so the manager punishes him severely. So Ryota looks at him with pity and wanted to help him, because he thought about himself in the end. So he goes to the girl and tells her, "I will help you," and takes out the ice bullet he has, and shoots the monsters, and Emily jumps on them while holding the hammer, and she manages to finish them all, so the girl thanks him for what he did with her. After that the two of them go to one of the boards to see Emily level, and they find that her level increased from the last time, so Emily thanks him because she reached this point because of him. On the next day, the two of them go to the 4th level dungeon, which has bat monsters, and they encounter a very rare monster, and before it escapes from them, Ryota throws the ice bullet he has at it, and a strange necklace drops from that monster. So he takes it and gives it to Emily so she can keep it, and tells her this necklace can double the loot that drops from monsters. After that, they continue attacking the bats, and Emily holds her hammer, and manages to kill a large number of them, and becomes very amazed when she finds that the loot has actually doubled from before. Ryota goes to the shop to sell the bamboo he collected, so a strange girl calls him, and asks him to let her taste the bamboo, and when she eats it she finds its taste very good, and asks him to buy all the bamboo he has, and gives him in return a large amount of money. Urza tells him this is a person who tastes food, and any food she approves is sold for large amounts. "I want you to sign a work contract with us. I want you to bring large quantities of bamboo, and I will pay you a lot of money in return," and Ryota agrees to her request while he is happy. He goes to the Nihonium dungeon, but he encounters there a girl with a group of soldiers, and sees them while they are trying to kill a monster. So the assistant of that girl goes to him, and tells him this is the princess of the city. "We are trying to extract the air here. The monsters in this dungeon do not extract any loot, but what we discovered is that they drop air, so we thought to put this air in boxes and sell it. And this is currently one of our most successful products, and what helps us in this is also the magic cart, because we store the boxes in it, and we do not have to go and return repeatedly." When Ryota returns home, he talks with Emily about the idea that they buy a magic cart to make things easier for them, and agrees with her that they will go to the cart shop to buy one. On the next day, they go to the cart shop, but when they arrive they hear the sound of the shop owner daughter screaming, so they enter quickly to see what is happening. So the little girl tells them, "My father has not returned home since he went to the dungeon." The two of them go quickly to the dungeon to search for him, and they encounter strange monsters in front of them. They do not attack anyone nor even move, but Emily goes to them and destroys them all, and they continue searching for the man, and find him sleeping in one of the corridors. So Emily looks at him while very angry, and hits the ground strongly with her hammer. So the shop owner wakes up startled from sleep. Emily approaches him and asks him while angry, "What were you thinking while you were sleeping here and leaving your daughter alone?" So the man apologizes to her and tells her, "I came here to collect a light stone and a heavy stone for my new cart. I obtained the heavy stone, but the light one I do not know how to get it." And the man points to a monster flying in the air. Its weight is lighter than air. Ryota carries Emily on his shoulders so she can reach the monster, and she manages to kill it, and extracts from it a flower. So Ryota asks him, "What do you need this flower for?" So he replies, "When we go outside everything will be clear." After that they go out, and the shop owner leaves the flower to turn into a stray monster, and tells them we must catch the monster before it flies in the air. So the man goes to it to catch it, but it rises higher than needed. So Ryota takes out his gun and shoots it with the ice bullet he has, and manages to bring it down to the ground, and the shop owner goes and catches it. At night, the three of them go to the shop, and after the man finishes making the new cart, and tells Ryota this gift is because you helped me and saved our city last time. So Ryota thanks him very much for the cart. On the next day Ryota and Emily go to the dungeon to collect bamboo, and thanks to the cart they manage to collect double the amount they used to take every time, and he agrees with Emily that he will go to the shop to sell these things. After that Ryota goes with Emily to the 4th level dungeon to collect bamboo from monsters, and they manage to collect a very large number of it, and the two of them become excited because they are close to getting a bigger house to live in. After a while, the two of them start packing their things because they will leave the house and go to a bigger house. But Ryota decides that he will keep paying the rent of this house even after they go to another house because he loved this place and does not want to leave it. After that, Ryota goes to the Nihonium dungeon and encounters mummy monsters there and manages to kill them with his gun, but he finds that the bullets ran out and he is forced to continue without a weapon and goes to the seed he extracted from the monster and finds that it increases his speed, But suddenly, the mummy monster comes from behind him, and Ryota grabs it strongly and hits it and kills it, and is surprised that he managed to defeat it very easily without even using a weapon. After that, Ryota goes to sit in one of the cafes alone, so a strange person comes to him and greets him, and tells him I came to you specifically to challenge you to play rest. So Ryota is surprised by him and asks him why. So he replies, honestly, I really admire your strength after I heard about you a lot recently. They start the challenge, and Ryota manages to defeat him after great difficulty. So people look at them while surprised, because the man he defeated is Nepotin, the strongest one in the city. Nepotin offers him to play another round, but Ryota refuses. So Nepotin suddenly stands up and throws a strong punch at him, but quickly Ryota hits him and throws him to the end of the place. So Nepotin gets up from the ground while admiring Ryota's strength and approaches him and offers him to join his family. So Ryota is shocked by his offer, but he refuses in the end. When Ryota returns home again, Emily is surprised when she knows that he refused Nepotin's offer. So he replies to her, I am not interested in joining any group now. I want to live a simple life with you only. So Emily looks at him and smiles at him, and tells him he surely chose you after he heard that you help people. You are really a hero. After that, Ryota goes to the Nihonium dungeon, and meets on his way the princess of the city, and her assistant, and the assistant greets him, and they show him the latest boxes they have, and tells him these boxes can absorb loot automatically, and the face of the person who killed the monster appears on them. I will give you some of them as a gift from us to you. So Ryota becomes very happy and takes them and leaves. After a while he collects in them the seeds he took from the dungeon, to turn them into monsters and kill them and take their loot. And when they transform, Ryota shoots bullets at the monsters and kills them, and finds in their place a group of ice bullets. While he is working on the experiments, Emily goes to the dungeon to look for him, and finds him standing waiting for the seeds to turn into monsters, and Ryota rushes at them and kills them, and extracts 2 new types of bullets, which are the fire bullet and the healing bullet. After that, Ryota collects a very large amount of different types of bullets, but suddenly he feels something strange while standing. So Emily tells him there is a magical storm coming toward us. Ryota returns to the shop to talk to Erza, because Emily does not know much about the storm. So she tells him this magical storm is a natural phenomenon, but it is very rare. When it blows, no one can use magic anywhere in the city. And also this storm affects the loot of the dungeons. That is why all adventurers are off today. While they are sitting talking, a person comes asking for help, and tells them my friend with me got trapped in one of the dungeons. But unfortunately all the adventurers refuse to help him, and that man falls on the ground unable to do anything. Suddenly Nepotin comes from behind Ryota, and tells him unfortunately that girl got trapped in the most dangerous dungeon. Even I unfortunately will not risk my life for her. So Erza says the monsters there are affected only by magic attacks, so Ryota goes to the man and offers him help. Ryota actually moves toward the dungeon, and encounters the first monster and shoots a fire bullet at it, and manages to burn it, and shoots its loot with an ice bullet so it does not turn into a monster. And Ryota continues his path but faces a large number of monsters, and takes out his gun and shoots them. Emily goes to the shop to meet Ryota, but she is shocked when she learns from Erza that he went to the dungeon to save someone, and Eve is standing behind her and hears the talk. And during that, Ryota continues his path, and shoots a fire bullet at a flying insect, and freezes its loot. He walks a little, and finds the girl he is supposed to save lying on the ground and injured. But suddenly another monster appears in front of him, and he quickly takes out his gun, but finds that his bullets ran out, and stands helpless not knowing what to do. On the other side, Emily and Eve are running at their maximum speed to reach him, and Emily's fear for Ryota reminds her of her mother. We return to the past. At that time Emily was standing with her mother while she was fighting monsters, and she was amazed by her strength and strong personality. And an unexpected moment comes, because a dragon suddenly appeared, so Emily's mother goes to her and reassures her, and orders her to take the others and escape until she finishes it. And when Emily goes to her mother after she defeated it, she finds her falling on the ground suddenly. So she runs to her while shocked, so her mother tells her, I am happy that I managed to save you, and quickly Emily carries her and goes out to take her for treatment. But unfortunately her mother dies on her shoulder. We return to the present, and Emily says my mother was a real hero, and Ryota as well, but I will not allow myself to lose him this time. At the same time, Ryota carries the girl on his shoulder and runs away quickly, because he will not be able to face them, and encounters Emily and Eve and some zombie monsters, so Emily tells him go kill the stray monsters so you can collect bullets. And we will delay these monsters, and after he collects the bullets, he goes to help them. The three of them go out with the girl outside the dungeon and find the man waiting for them. But the man feels regret because he cannot heal her with healing magic because of the magical storm, so Ryota takes out the healing bullet and shoots her, and manages to heal her, and the man thanks him greatly for what he did. After a while, Ryota goes to sell watermelon fruit, but the tasting girl comes again and asks him to evaluate the watermelon. And when she eats it, she finds its taste very good, so when people hear her words, they rush to taste the watermelon. So Urza asks Ryota to make a contract with them and bring them a large amount of it. She tells him, we forgot something. Watermelon comes from the 5th level. You are supposed to have a 5th level license, and traders are supposed not to buy goods from adventurers who do not have a license. After that, Emily and Ryota go to the Adventurers Guild, and when he goes he finds an employee sitting. So Ryota asks him to make an adventurer license, so he tells him, I must give you a test first. And when they go to the arena, the employee puts a specific watermelon in the middle of the room, and tells him all you have to do is defeat the monster when it transforms. After a while the monster appears, and it is a steel slime, so Emily tells him this monster is solid. Even swords cannot cut it, so Ryota puts an ice bullet and a fire bullet in the gun, and shoots it with the fire bullet until it burns, then shoots it with the ice bullet to freeze it, and goes to it and hits it calmly, so the ice breaks and the monster dies. The employee looks at him while amazed, and tells him, I will give you the license now. After a while, Ryota buys a tuna fish for a very large amount of money, and leaves it until it transforms into a monster, so he can kill it and take its loot. And after a while, it transforms into a gorilla monster, so Ryota shoots it with ice bullets, then rushes at it and kills it, and manages to extract from it another gun. After that, Ryota goes to the shop, but he notices that Urza is very upset, and she tells him there is a group of people who controlled the rice in the whole dungeon, and if I do not increase the price of rice, they will not sell it to me. Ryota decides that he will negotiate with them, but he finds many people there, and Nepotin is standing with them. So he tells him, you surely came for the people who monopolized the rice. All the people of the city are angry now, so we will gather and kill them. So Ryota asks him to let him go talk to them first. Ryota enters and finds the gang standing inside and ready for fighting, so Ryota takes out his 2 guns and shoots them with 2 healing bullets, so they merge together and turn into a sleep bullet, and he defeats them without killing them. And after he leaves the dungeon, there is a strange person asking him to sit with him. He goes with him to his house, and the man tells him, I am the head of all the dungeons in the city, and I want your help in a battle over a new dungeon that will appear. But the problem is that the neighboring city wants it. The dungeons in the neighboring city produce meat, and the new dungeon appeared, its loot is half vegetables and half meat, and no one knows who deserves it, so we decided that we will make a competition. The city that finds the largest rare loot will take the dungeon. If we win, I will give you a large amount of money, and you will not pay taxes on your goods again, so Ryota agrees. After that, Ryota and Emily start moving on their way to the place of the new dungeon, and at night they build a big tent to sleep in until morning, and Emily tells him, I will go to burn this garbage. Ryota asks her, why will you do that? So she replies, anything left like this turns into a stray monster, and garbage that turns into monsters becomes very strong, so Ryota thinks for a while, and decides to turn it into a monster, and see what he will extract from it. They go to do his experiment, and the garbage actually transforms into a strange monster, so Ryota throws a fire bullet at it and burns it, but the monster is not affected. So Ryota takes out his 2 guns and shoots 2 fire bullets and merges them together, and manages to burn the monster completely. And when he goes to it, he finds a new type of bullet, which is a homing bullet, that follows the monster until it hits it. After that, the 2 of them arrive at the dungeon, in the middle of a gathering of thousands of people, and they encounter a large pile of garbage, so they are surprised, because it will turn into a stray monster. But they notice a girl named Celeste, using magic and burning it, and when they get close to her, they find her very tired. So Ryota and Emily go to her to advise her to rest a little, but she cannot take a rest, and goes to the second pile to burn it, but she has already reached her limit, and falls to the ground from exhaustion. But Celeste forces herself and stands up again, so Ryota takes out his 2 guns, and shoots her with 2 merged healing bullets, to force her to sleep. After a while, Celeste wakes up from sleep, and finds herself lying on the bed in the tent, and quickly gets up because she is late for her work, and finds the garbage transforming into stray monsters. But suddenly Ryota comes and shoots them with his 2 guns and kills them, and she also finds them organizing people, so each one throws his garbage in its designated place. On the next day, Celeste returns to her work again, and she is much stronger than yesterday, and thanks them for their help. After a while, Ryota and Emily walk in the market and meet a jewelry man there, so Emily looks at them while amazed by their beautiful appearance, but she cannot buy one because they are very expensive. After that, Ryota goes to meet the official of their city in this battle, and shows him a map of the new dungeon, and tells him vegetable loot is in the odd levels, while meat is in the even levels. All you have to do is defeat rare plant monsters in record time, and then we will win the right to own the dungeon. We just want you to focus on collecting loot only. And suddenly one of the people enters and informs them that they caught a rare monster. Ryota quickly goes with the official to the dungeon, so Ryota notices a group of people standing watching them, so the official tells him the man standing there belongs to the opposing city, and the person next to him is his assistant, but his drop rate is very low and unfortunately they do this to ruin our rare plant loot. Ryota takes out his gun and shoots the monster, and manages to kill it, but suddenly the monster wakes up again and grows in size and its strength increases. So the ruler of the other city says to defeat this monster you must hit its core somewhere in its body, otherwise it will wake up again and become bigger, but my assistant knows its location, and he will kill it first, and orders his assistant to kill that monster quickly. But Ryota takes out a homing bullet and puts it in the gun, and shoots in the air before the assistant kills the monster, and the bullet moves automatically toward the core, and he manages to kill it first, so the ruler of the other city looks at him angrily, and takes himself with his men and leaves, and after that, the official gives a reward to Ryota because he managed to get the first rare loot. At night, Ryota returns to the tent again, and sits with Emily to talk a little, and Ryota tells her everything that happened in the day, and after that Ryota takes out a ring from his pocket and gives it to Emily, so Emily looks at him while she cannot believe herself. And he tells her you were helping me all the time, and because of that I wanted to get you a gift. By the way, this ring has special skills. You can increase your stats level. So Emily looks at him with tears in her eyes, and thanks him for this gift. On the next day, Ryota takes Emily and goes to the dungeon, and shows her that her level increased after she wore the ring, and while they are walking in the second level of the dungeon, they encounter a tree monster coming at them. So Emily jumps on it and hits it with her hammer, and manages to kill it and extracts from it a chicken breast, so Emily becomes very happy with her strength. Suddenly, a rare monster appears in the level they are in and hits Emily and throws her into the wall and decreases her health, so Ryota takes out his gun to kill it, but he sees the ruler of the other city, and remembers that it is an even level of the dungeon, and if he kills the monster the loot will go to the opponent, so Ryota puts his gun back, but he notices one of the men with the ruler, who seems to have a high drop rate, and thinks what to do to prevent them from taking this loot and tying with them. Emily takes off the ring from her hand and gives it to Ryota, so Ryota takes the ring and understands what she wants to do, and quickly uses an ice bullet on the monster and fixes it in its place, and Emily jumps on it with her hammer and kills it, and since her drop rate is very bad, nothing drops from it and the opportunity is lost for the other city, so the ruler gets angry and takes himself and leaves. After that Ryota goes to meet the official, so he thanks him for his good action with the rare monster that appeared in the second level, and tells him unfortunately we have a big problem. The opponent decided to send adventurers with bad drop rates to the odd levels of the dungeon to kill any rare monster that appears quickly. Our only option is that we go ourselves and search for the monsters before they find them. Ryota enters the dungeon and kills rare monsters in every level one after another, until he finishes them all and gives the advantage to his city. So the official goes to him and tells him this way, we will definitely win the challenge. I will go quickly and inform the whole city that we have won. After a while, the adventurers come and surround Ryota from every direction, and the assistant of the ruler appears, and tells him because of you we would have won the dungeon and taken a lot of money for us. But now they abandoned us, and orders one of the men to make a magic circle on Ryota, and tells him this circle has the exact same effect as the magical storm. You will not be able to use your magic now. I will not kill you, but I will make you retire from this profession forever. The adventurers rush at him, but quickly Ryota throws the magic card at them, and goes to the rest and faces them with his strength. And Ryota takes out his gun and shoots in the air to scare them, and shoots healing bullets at the adventurers he hit, and tells them I understand your feelings well, and then leaves them and walks away. After a while, Ryota returns home again, so Celeste congratulates Ryota on the effort he made in the dungeon. So he tells her the committee has not officially decided that the dungeon is ours yet, but very soon they will announce that, and then I will finally be able to return to the city. On the next day, Ryota finds Celeste sitting using fire magic and burning garbage, until she exhausts herself and falls down, so Ryota goes to her and holds her before she hits the ground, and uses a healing bullet on her to treat her. So Ryota asks her, why were you using all that energy on a small pile of garbage? She replies, unfortunately this is the only thing I can use. I can use level 3 fire magic only, but level 1 and 2 I cannot use them. Then people come carrying garbage for Celeste to burn, so Celeste goes to it and prepares herself to use magic, but quickly Ryota uses a fire bullet and burns the garbage to help her and reduce her workload a little. After a while, the place fills with a large pile of garbage, so Ryota loses his temper, and says every time we burn it people bring more again. So Celeste replies, unfortunately all this is because of the appearance of the dungeon master. This is a boss that appears every period once, and no one is allowed to enter the dungeon now. That is why people eat a lot because of stress, and this is what leads to all this garbage. When he goes there, he finds Nepotin and his companions sitting with the official to find a solution to this problem. So Ryota offers them help, so the official tells him unfortunately it will not work. We agreed with the other city that if the dungeon master appears, we will unite our strength together to defeat it. And we already prepared Nepotin and his companions to send them, but the other city does not even want to choose anyone from them, because this is in their favor. If the dungeon master remains for a long time, the environment inside will completely change, and this will lead to the loot changing, and we will restart the challenge from the beginning. Ryota tells him then I will enter alone and try to finish it, so he replies unfortunately that will not work either, because we set a rule that says there must be at least 3 people of high level to enter. Ryota asks Nepotin to come with him to fight that monster, but Nepotin refuses, and tells him unfortunately I am here with an official contract, and I cannot enter by my own will. So Ryota leaves while upset and decides that he will look for another solution. After that, Ryota goes to the market and asks the adventurers to help him defeat the monster, but of course all the adventurers refuse, because they are afraid for themselves. So Ryota returns to the tent sad, and meets Emily in front of him. So she tells him I heard that you will go defeat the dungeon master, so I am ready to come with you, and not only me. Celeste also wants to help us. Ryota is shocked and asks her while surprised, then what will you do about the garbage? So she replies, do not worry about it. I asked for help from my little brother. Then her brother enters, and the surprise is that he is the assistant of the ruler of the other city. So Ryota looks at him while surprised, because he did not expect that someone like him would help them, but he thanks him for his cooperation. After that, they enter the dungeon, and wait for the monster to appear, and suddenly, the dungeon master descends on them from above, so Ryota quickly takes Emily and Celeste away so they do not get hurt, and the 3 of them rush at it, and Emily jumps on it to hit it with her hammer. But that monster has a magical shield around it, and Emily cannot penetrate it, and is thrown away, but she manages to get up quickly before it hits her, so Ryota asks Celeste to help him, and she uses her fire magic on it, so the monster is fixed in its place, and Ryota shoots 2 merged fire bullets at it, and manages to break its barrier. So Emily goes to it quickly and hits it with her hammer, and manages to affect it. But suddenly, the monster restores its magical barrier again, so Ryota tells them we will repeat the same process again, and indeed they manage to hit it for the second time. So the monster stands again and renews its barrier, and creates a magic circle on the ground, through which it absorbs their power, and adds it to its strength. When Ryota and Emily look at Celeste they find her fallen on the ground, because the monster drained all her power. So Ryota orders Emily to take care of Celeste, and Ryota goes toward the monster. But Celeste does not give up and stands up from the ground to help him, and says I will give all my effort. A tremendous aura comes out of her, and she uses fire magic on the monster, and manages to destroy the barrier around it, and quickly Emily throws her hammer to Ryota so he can use it. So Ryota catches it and rushes quickly at the monster, and strikes it with all his strength with the hammer, and manages to defeat the monster. After that he goes to Celeste to check on her, after she fainted because of the amount of energy she released, and tells her without you it would have been impossible to defeat this monster. So Celeste looks at him while crying, because she cannot believe that someone is praising her. And not only that, Ryota also gives her the monster loot, which are sharp fangs, and when she takes them from him, she finds herself able to use level 1 magic, and thus she will not exhaust herself on simple things. So Celeste looks at them and thanks them while crying. On the next day, Celeste stands in front of a small amount of garbage, and burns it using level 1 fire magic. So Ryota goes to her and informs her that it has been announced that the dungeon will officially belong to their city, and they will finally return again, and Ryota offers her to come with them to the city, and form a trio party together. So Celeste looks at him while very happy, and agrees immediately. After that, The three of them return to the other village, and while Ryota is walking he finds Urza in front of him. So she greets him and welcomes him after his return, and tells him, I want to talk with you a little about the harvest festival. When you are free, come visit me at any time. At sunset, Ryota meets Emily and Celeste again next to the Nihonium dungeon, and they tell him, we learned information about the harvest festival. It is a festival held annually in the city here. Adventurers collect goods from the dungeons and display them. Then they turn them into stray monsters and put them in an arena, and make them fight each other. They do this just for showing off and pride in their goods, nothing more. Anyway, what are we doing here? Ryota replies, after I left you, I entered the dungeon and raised my speed to the highest level, and since you had not come yet, I went down to the 4th level to increase my vitality level. Then I collected the remaining seeds and put them in this box, and suddenly the box turns into stray monsters, so he kills them all, and manages to extract from them a new type of bullets, which is binding bullets. While they are standing, they hear the sound of screaming coming from the city, and when they look from afar, they find a giant monster attacking the city. So they go there quickly and ask one of the people what happened. So he replies, a rare loot turned into a stray monster, and that monster is very strong. They go to the monster to kill it, and find it a rare type of slime. So Ryota orders Emily to attack the monster while he and Celeste throw fire at it. But suddenly the monster comes out from the fire not affected, and hits Emily strongly, so she tries to block it using her hammer until Ryota goes to the monster and saves her. Ryota goes to it and manages to throw it upward, and takes out the new binding bullets and shoots it, and manages to fix it in its place, and approaches it and shoots 2 binding bullets and merges them together, and manages to kill it completely, and extracts from it a strange bag, and goes to Emily to check on her. So she tells him while sad, I am fine but my hammer broke. So Ryota promises her that he will take her tomorrow and go to the weapon merchant to buy a new weapon. On the next day, the three of them are surprised that the weapon merchant is the one knocking on the door and sits with them, and tells them, I heard that Emily hammer broke yesterday, so I wanted to offer you a new hammer for her, because your party has a big influence in the city, so I wanted to reward you. So Emily looks at him while happy, and thanks him for this beautiful gift. After that, Ryota goes to the Nihonium dungeon, and meets there the princess and her assistant, so he greets them and welcomes them. But suddenly, the two of them hear the princess screaming, and find that many monsters attack them. Ryota takes out his 2 guns and manages to kill them all, and saves the princess. So the princess thanks him for saving her, and tells him, I will give you a ring as a gift. So Ryota looks at her and is happy with her kindness. On the other side, Emily chooses the material of the hammer before the merchant starts making it, and suddenly Eve enters to them while angry and asks them about Ryota. So Emily tells her he is taking a round in the dungeons, then he will go to Urza's shop, so Eve thanks her and leaves quickly. After a while, Ryota returns to Urza's shop to sell the bamboo he has, and asks Urza, what did you want from me? So she tells him, I want you to collect rare or strong loot from the dungeons for the harvest festival, and I will give you a lot of money in return, and gives him a booklet containing a list of rare loot that no one has found until now, and also gives him money for what he brought, and apologizes to him that the money is not much this time, because the person responsible for finding money in the dungeon died. So Ryota looks at her, while surprised, and asks her, can money be extracted from the dungeon? Ryota quickly leaves and goes to an empty place, and puts the money on the ground to turn into a stray monster, and it transforms into a giant bird, and starts flying in the air. But quickly Ryota uses the homing bullets to kill it quickly, and manages to extract from it a potion that enhances plant drop level for 10 minutes, and suddenly, he finds Eve rushing at him and holding him, and Eve asks Ryota to let her join his party, and keeps begging him until Ryota agrees in the end. So when Eve hears the approval, she becomes very happy. On the next day, Ryota wakes up from sleep and finds Celeste very exhausted, so he asks her what happened. So she replies, unfortunately this is the effect of the magical storm. When it comes I feel my head hurting and pain in my heart. But it is only a few days and the storm will end and I will return to normal again. So Ryota tells her, I will not go to the dungeon today, and I will look for a bigger house to protect you from this storm. After that, Ryota takes them and goes to one of the people who sell houses, and the man tells him this house can prevent the magical storm. And when they enter the house and the man closes the door, Celeste suddenly feels better and becomes very happy with the effect of this house. After the storm ends, Ryota goes with them to the dungeon and goes down to the 7th level to kill stronger monsters, and finds that it is snowing there. So he looks around surprised until he finds a slime monster, so Ryota shoots it with his gun, but the monster does not die. Ryota goes to it and hits it with his hand, and keeps shooting fire at it, but still the monster is not affected. So Celeste tells him you cannot kill these monsters alone, because monsters do not take damage from the same person twice in a row, and she activates her magic and hits it, and manages to kill it after Ryota attacked it and affected it the first time. After that Emily attacks one of them, and immediately Ryota shoots and kills the monster, and manages to extract from it an onion. But suddenly one of the rare monsters attacks Ryota and throws him away. So Celeste says this is stronger than the monster we killed. When it gets close to death, it reflects all attacks on it. Immediately Eve attacks it and manages to hit it, and quickly Ryota shoots his weapon and hits it. So the monster dies and they manage to extract from it a strange gem, through which they can reflect attacks on them. Ryota goes up to the second level of the dungeon to try this gem, and lets the monster hit him to see its effect. And indeed the monster dies after it attacked Ryota. At sunset, Ryota goes to Urza's shop and sells the gem to her because of the agreement between them. So Urza looks at it while amazed and tells him now my shop rating will increase, and Urza gives him a large amount of money. And after they leave the shop, they encounter a girl named Alice entering inside and asks the adventurers to let her join their party, but they refuse because she is young and weak. On the next day, Ryota goes to the Nihonium dungeon to increase his level, and meets there an advanced skeleton, and it turns red and attacks him, and it is very fast and strong, but Ryota manages to kick it and kill it, and when he takes from it the seed that dropped, he finds it increases magic power points. So Ryota asks himself, how do I even use magic? After that they go to Celeste to teach him, and she suggests that he buys a box containing fruit that will teach him magic automatically, but he will be able to use only one random spell. So Ryota tries to leave it until it turns into a stray monster, then kill it, and after a while, the fruit actually turns into a stray monster. But the surprise is that this monster is Ryota himself. Ryota rushes at the monster that looks like him, and also has the same power, so Ryota cannot affect it, but he waits for the monster to attack him, and grabs it and throws it in the air, and shoots it in its stomach, and manages to finish it, and extracts from it the same fruit, but with 2 spells this time, and takes it and eats it. After that the two of them go and meet Emily in the dungeon to try Ryota new magic, and he tells them now I can use wind magic, and the second magic is that I can make someone copy my drop level, and he tests his magic on one of the monsters, and shoots a binding bullet at it to fix it. Then orders Emily to attack the monster, and she indeed finishes it and extracts from it potatoes, but with Ryota level. Ryota says unfortunately the disadvantage of this spell is that it works only while I am present, so Emily looks at him while laughing in his face, and tells him on the contrary, this way you can increase all of our levels, because you will give us a chance to kill more monsters. After that Ryota goes and meets Urza, and they notice the girl Alice who wanted to join any party, talking to a cruel leader who enslaves the adventurers with him, and she agrees with him to join their party. So Ryota goes to them while angry, and tells the leader I will take this girl to my party. Urza goes to her, and tells her you are a lucky girl that Ryota offers you to join his party. This is the most famous party in the city now, and when Alice hears people words about him, she becomes very happy and agrees immediately. So Ryota tells her now come with me to see your level. Then they arrive at the board to know her level, and find it very bad, so he takes her and they go to the Nihonium dungeon to increase her level. When Alice enters inside she feels a strange feeling, and tells him I felt like I returned to the past. I was actually born in a dungeon. My mother told me she was fighting monsters, and suddenly I appeared. Anyway, the monsters are in this path, so when they go to the place she pointed at, Ryota is surprised by her, because she was able to know the location of monsters easily, and quickly he takes out his gun and shoots them with a binding bullet, and orders Alice to take a stone and kill them. After they finish, Ryota takes her to check her level again, so Alice tells him I want to go back again, because there was a skeleton that wanted me. So Ryota looks at her surprised, but he enters with her inside. When they arrive she points at it, so Ryota takes out his gun and shoots it with a binding bullet, and Alice goes to it and kills it, and suddenly, that skeleton turns into another small skeleton, and Alice takes it to raise it with them. So Ryota looks at her not understanding anything. After that the two of them go to the normal dungeon, so Alice makes the skeleton face one of the monsters, and it manages to defeat it, and after it finishes it returns to its normal state and goes to her, and suddenly Alice hears that a slime monster is calling her, so she orders the skeleton to go to it and kill it. So the skeleton goes and finishes it, and that monster also turns into a small slime monster, so Alice takes it and decides to raise it with the skeleton. On the next day, Alice sits with the rest to get to know them, and Ryota tells them I want to add Alice to our party, so they all agree while happy. So Alice looks at them and becomes very happy because they accepted her. On the next day, Ryota and Emily go to the Harvest Festival and watch the event and the happy people. After that they go to meet Alice to take her with them to the festival, and when they go to her she points to a strange shop and asks them to come with her. And when they arrive there, they find it a shop selling strange boxes. So the merchant tells them these boxes when you leave them for a while they turn into a stray mouse, and if you kill it it will raise your level easily. So Ryota likes his words and decides that he will buy one and try it. After that Ryota takes it and they go to an empty place, and when it transforms he raises his gun and shoots it with a binding bullet and uses his spell on it to raise the drop level of the people around him and orders Emily to attack it quickly. And indeed Emily goes and strikes it with her hammer and manages to kill it, but she extracts from it a new type of bullet. Ryota approaches it and finds it an enhanced bullet and goes to a rock to try it, and when he puts a normal bullet and an enhanced bullet together, they both turn into a very strong bullet that can destroy the giant rock. After that they take each other and walk, but suddenly a giant stray monster appears in the city, so Ryota goes to it quickly and hits it before it kills a little girl. But suddenly the monster stands again and enlarges itself, and Emily goes to the monster and hits it with her hammer, but still the monster remains alive and grows in size, so Ryota says it must be absorbing our attacks to become this giant. Suddenly, Nepotin comes with his companions, so Ryota asks him for help to kill this monster, so Nepotin agrees, and orders his companions to use their magic, and the two of them begin enhancing Nepotin power. So quickly Ryota takes out a binding bullet to fix the monster in its place, and the three of them attack it at the same time, and manage to kill it after they unite together. While they are standing they find Eve and Celeste coming toward them, so Ryota takes them and they go on a tour inside the festival, and spend a nice time together, and at the end of the day while they are walking, Alice suddenly stops, and says there are many monsters in that direction. So Celeste tells her no, these are monsters in an arena, and there are adventurers killing them and taking their loot, all in front of people. So Ryota suggests to them that he participates in the competition, and takes Celeste with him as his partner. After that they enter the arena and meet one of the strong slime monsters, and Celeste shoots it with her fire magic, then Ryota shoots it with his gun and manages to kill it, so the two of them celebrate together, and live beautiful moments. At night, Celeste tells them we managed to get fireworks as a reward, so they light them and have fun together, and after they finish, Alice suddenly feels a strange feeling, and starts moving as if someone is controlling her, and says someone is calling me, so Ryota goes to her quickly, and wakes her up, so Alice returns to her consciousness again, and says I felt that someone is calling me from the Nihonium dungeon, so Ryota says then we will go explore it tomorrow. On the next day, Ryota goes to meet the dungeon master, and tells him I heard that you wanted to talk with me, so he replies actually there has been no loot dropping from monsters since yesterday, and not only one dungeon but all the dungeons as well, and this has not happened before, and honestly I do not know how long this will continue, so I ask you to investigate the matter, so Ryota agrees and promises him that he will do his best to find a solution. After that Ryota takes his friends and they go to one of the dungeons, and Emily tries to kill a monster, and indeed finds that nothing is extracted from it, and they hear two people talking, and they say to each other what will we do now, there is no loot in any dungeon almost, how will we pay our bills and what will we tell our families, and they leave to search somewhere else while upset. Celeste says the situation is really bad, and the prices of everything have started to rise greatly, and panic has started to spread among people, so Eve goes and holds a monster, and asks Ryota to shoot it, and get carrots from it. So Ryota says there will be no loot now, but still he takes out his gun and shoots it, but the surprise is that he manages to extract a carrot from it. So Ryota looks at it while shocked, and remembers Emily's words that when the dungeon master appears no loot comes out, so he runs quickly there to know what exactly is happening. When Ryota goes there, he says if Alice feeling yesterday was right, then the Nihonium dungeon master appeared here, and indeed when Ryota searches a little, he finds the dungeon monster in the form of a girl. So Ryota takes out his gun and shoots at her, but suddenly the bullet passes through her and does not affect her, as if she is a ghost. So Ryota looks at her while shocked, but quickly the girl goes to him and kicks him with her leg and throws him away. Ryota stands up again and tries to shoot her with fire and ice bullets, but they still pass through her and do not affect her, so Ryota takes out binding and homing bullets and shoots toward her, but she is still not affected. So the monster rushes at him and hits him and throws him away, and while the monster is approaching him, she notices that a bullet entered her leg, so she removes it and throws it away and continues walking toward Ryota. A brilliant idea comes to his mind, and he takes out the gun and loads all the homing bullets and shoots at her, so the monster looks at him and laughs because the bullets pass through her. But when she tries to kick him, all the bullets hit her leg, so Ryota understands her secret, and shoots homing bullets everywhere. So the monster rushes at him to punch him, but the bullets hit her again, and her hands get cut. Ryota tells her, when you attack me your body becomes physical. I understood that when you removed the bullet from your leg, I managed to slow your speed and now I will have the advantage over you. So the monster attacks with her other leg, so Ryota quickly shoots her with normal bullets, and rushes at her and hits his head against her and throws her away, and quickly stands up and goes to her and puts the gun on her, and manages to kill her finally, but he soon faints because of his injuries. After a while, Ryota opens his eyes and finds Emily standing in front of him, but he is unable to move and cannot stand. So Emily takes the gun and a healing bullet from him, and shoots him to heal him. So Ryota stands after being healed, so Emily tells him the loot returned again to the dungeons. You saved everyone in the city, but suddenly, his eye falls on a ring on the ground, which is the loot of the dungeon master monster, so Ryota takes it and is surprised by its power. And it allows collecting seeds and turning them into crystals, and thus anyone will be able to level up, not only Ryota. After that they go outside the dungeon, and the others are standing outside waiting for them, so Celeste scolds him and tells him, you are not alone to throw yourself into this danger, we are one party helping each other. So Ryota promises her that he will not act recklessly again. On the next day, Ryota returns again to the dungeon to try the ring he found, and waits for monsters to come to him, and takes out his gun and kills them all and turns them into crystals. And Ryota encounters the princess and her assistant coming toward him. So the assistant tells him, there are dragons we want to kill, because we will extract from them a rare loot. But the princess level is weak and she cannot kill them. So Ryota asks her to go outside the dungeon so he can check her level. When they go outside and he knows her level, Ryota takes out the crystal and gives it to her. So the princess looks at it while shocked, when she hears a voice in her ear saying her level increased, so her assistant and the soldiers are surprised as well. So Ryota takes out all the crystals he has and gives them to her. So the princess looks at him while she cannot believe herself, and thanks him for what he did with her. After that, Ryota collects all the carrots and bean sprouts in the market to turn them into stray monsters and kill them, and manages to increase his friends' levels. So the stray monsters begin to appear. So Ryota takes out his gun and kills them one after another, and orders Emily and Celeste to take the crystals from the ground to increase their levels. So the two of them are surprised when their power increases, and they become happy that they leveled up. After they finish, they go to check their level, and find that they increased greatly. After a while, Ryota walks with his friends in the street, and hears people talking about them, and how amazing and wonderful they are, and they go to the Adventurers Guild to take work licenses for Celeste and Emily, so they can be a strong and recognized party among people, and they enter to take the test and both of them pass. At night, Ryota sits with his friends to talk with them, and tells them, now we reached our maximum level, and Celeste and Emily have licenses. I am thinking that each one works alone for this period, so we benefit more from our strength, and collect a lot of money. We want to develop our talents. After that each one goes to a different dungeon and level, and they start killing monsters and extracting loot from them. And after they finish the first week, they sit together to see what each one did, but as usual Ryota is the one who collected the most money. So Emily asks him, is there something specific you want to buy? So he replies, yes, I want to get a magic cart for each one of you. After Ryota buys the carts, he takes them to show them, and tells them these carts are very advanced. I can send anything to you through these carts. If someone is in a dungeon and his cart is full, he can send his loot to any of us, and continue hunting instead of going back and forth. After a while, Ryota goes and meets Erza, and she tells him, your party is presenting amazing results. So Ryota tells her, I want you to come work with me privately. There are some tasks I want you to do, so Erza agrees immediately while happy. Ryota returns to his friends again with Erza, and informs them that she will handle the party accounts from now on, and will also organize their work, so they all welcome her, and become excited to work with her. After that they make a welcome party for Erza. And suddenly the doorbell rings, and when Ryota opens the door he finds the princess and her assistant coming to him with flowers to thank him. So Ryota invites them to enter to celebrate together, and he also finds the dungeon master and the cart shop owner coming in, and they start the party and spend a wonderful time with friends. And Ryota says to himself, I was lucky when I moved to this world, and I also got friends who love me. I am very happy with my new life.